They're not just grooming your children in their sexual and gender ideology. They're also using CRT to turn them into good little communists.
Good evening to the most famous school board in America. I was happy to help expose you guys and your actions. There is lots of good teachers in our town. They aren't well represented by you guys. The level to which you have gone to ignore the actions you have taken is astounding to me. You forced boys into my daughter's bathroom and then advocate to vote for the very lady who forced that to happen. So you obviously have not reversed your position on that. You still think that boys should follow my daughter in a bathroom. Does anybody up there have a daughter? Would it be okay if I followed her into a bathroom? Anybody okay with that? There's pornographic books in our libraries and drag queen teachers, and you guys are in charge of it. And I'm not going to stop until each and every one of you is removed. You have shown that you're not going to change course. And I'm not going to stop. And I would encourage you to step down now. Clearly, you are defending defenseless positions. Putting a boy in my daughter's bathroom is crazy. And thinking that a boy can be a girl simply for saying it is also crazy. We fought you guys to get it and got a state law passed. And clearly, because that's what is the right thing to do. And it took a law to stop you guys from doing that. There's lots of good going on, but Hitler built schools. What is actually happening cannot be ignored, and I'm not going to let it be ignored. The school counselors that I grew up with are gone. Mr. Gordon sent me an email today. He will not tell me if our school counselors are ASCA certified. ASCA, their 2021 position statement. It is an expectation, not the exception, for school counselors to integrate multiculturalism and social justice into their work as advocates and leaders. These counselors are not here to help our children anymore. They're here to indoctrinate them. And stand by.
I will continue to do everything in my power to...
You know you're in a cult if 1. You believe you are what your imagination says you are. Delusional, characterized by or holding false beliefs or judgments about external reality that are held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary, typically as a symptom of a mental condition. You know you're in a cult if 6. You believe reality isn't real. Delusional, characterized by or holding false beliefs or judgments about external reality that are held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary, typically as a symptom of a mental condition. You know you're in a cult if 10. Thanks to Jamie Lee Curtis, who didn't know how many Oscars she'd won, them can't count. You know you're in a cult if 11. You will cry in protest to take a real black woman off a syrup bottle and a Quaker off a box of oats named Quaker Oats, only to put a fake white woman on a beer can. All while saying, I can't believe they're so upset over a beer can. Bud Light parent Anheuser-Busch's stock has lost $27 billion over Dylan Mulvaney. You know you're in a cult if 13. If you get triggered because someone doesn't think you're special because you were born into one of the CRT-approved victim groups, they believe deeds and personal responsibility warrant pride. You know you're in a cult if 18. Lost your shit over To Kill a Mockingbird and Huckleberry Finn but are screaming about banning books with gay sex and masturbation in school libraries. You know you're in a cult if 20. will lie even with irrefutable evidence. You know you're in a cult if 21. Being so filled with hate, you will groom, mutilate, and murder your own children, all while calling your opposition fascists. You know you're in a cult if 22. Believes that out of 7 billion people on the planet, white, straight, males are somehow oppressing everyone else. You know you're in a cult if 23. Will lose your shit when someone points out that you're not oppressed, you're just stupid. You know you're in a cult if 25. Will refer to a biology book as right-wing propaganda. You know you're in a cult if 26. Will lose your shit if someone actually uses proper English, instead of your made-up pronouns. You know you're in a cult if 32. Are the same people who say you can't indoctrinate kids to be gay with a book or a drag show, but continually accuse the church of doing that very thing. Although religion isn't taught in schools, and you're not forced to go to church. You know you're in a cult if 33. When someone is simply talking science and common sense, you will try to bring religion into it. Well, you know the church. Well then, don't go to church. It's not against the law. Not going to school is. You know you're in a cult if 34. Will use unrelated behavior to justify their sick, grooming behavior. You know you're in a cult if 39. Will lose your shit when someone says you're in a woke cult, and to prove you're not, you do the things on this list over and over and over. You know you're in a cult if 40. Will accuse your opposition of that which you are guilty. You know you're in a cult if 46. Consider chemically castrating a pedophile horrible and inhumane, but chemically castrating a child just dandy.